You know, one of the most exciting days to hunt of the entire year, and a lot of people miss out on, is gun season opener. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to hunt gun. I don't hunt gun. I like my bow. But thinking back, you know, some of my earliest memories of hunting outside of bow hunting when I was 15, 16 years old, 17, was when I got to gun hunt. I remember a time in the Thumb area of Michigan, counted 400 shots in the first hour of hunting. This is in flat thumb area, flatland area, where small woodlots and lots of doe permits. There was over 50 some deer per square mile they set in those counties. And so there were a lot of people shooting does, and there was just slugs flying everywhere. We had a lot of mishaps with that, water hitting creeks and cornfields and going through corn. I've heard slugs tumble, not a good thing. Trespassing, there's a lot of that at that time back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And fortunately, a lot of that's changed, but still an exciting time. You can imagine for a couple teenagers, my brother and I out there by ourselves and hunting. It was, you know, I remember the first time, I think we were 17 and 15, you know, out there having a good time. You know, it was fun. So very exciting time. A lot of people get discouraged. You know, if you actively manage your property or bow hunter and all of a sudden gun season comes along and the neighbor shoots a big buck. That happens, but not very often. Not as often as you think based on your hunting strategy and your approach. And so I want to talk about approach that not only sets you up for success, but sets your property up for success, your deer herd up for success, so that you can actually go into gun season excited, knowing you're not making a negative impact and you're taking advantage of the hunting opportunity, which may end up that you're hunting with a bow during gun season. Like I just shot a buck on the third day of Minnesota's gun season with my bow. Backdoor approach. What do I mean by that? Bedding area, long way in, away from food, and you're using your neighbor's hunting pressure. One of the best tips that I can give you. So what does that mean? Here's a setup we had back in the day where I shot a really nice buck. Neighboring hunting pressure in this location. Let's say that was 20, 30 acres. They come in this way heavy, hot and heavy into this location. Then we have a little transition area like this, and then another big bedding area. We would park over here, walk in, and end up in a stand location right here with the wind in our face, of course. And so I'm going all the way around, coming in the back door, and waiting for those deer to come to me from a long ways away. So 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, I'm shooting that 6-year-old monster that I was after. Because he's down there in the ravine, he's just walking his way around and watching a unpressured small herd of does, fawns, young bucks, and all of a sudden he starts coming in. We were on the back side of the cover with neighboring hunting pressure far away so that there's plenty of time, plenty of cover to allow that deer to slip in and be unpressured. So he's in that unpressured pocket that I'm watching. Very, very critical. That backdoor approach is accounted for. This was more recent. This was maybe I was hunting with my son Jake, and this was maybe, I'll say 2011, maybe somewhere around there, where I can think back to 1993, hunting in the Thumb area of Michigan, doing the same thing, where you have a big patch of cover here. I can hunt the outside edge of it with a little transition going through on the property line where I can hunt. And then neighboring hunting pressure comes in like this, sitting here, here, here. And then there's about 300 yards of swamp and garbage. I just post up on the opposite side. It's only a matter of time before all this pressure here pushes out this cover here. And I'm sitting right there in a funnel waiting for him to come out. And that's what happened. The buck I'm after, 93, a nice palmated, really cool buck. He's one of the ones on the wall upstairs. Comes flying through, and I get him at about 20 yards. Get him about 20 yards. What's interesting about that is, you know, I'm going into an area like this where I expect nothing within 180 degrees. That means I haven't walked through it. My scent hasn't gone in there. They haven't heard me come in all the way out in front of me. How many of you go in through your cover, turn around and watch for you? I know people that do that on the backside of their property. They want to hunt the backside of their 40, so they walk all the way through it and then turn around and watch where they just walk through. So I want to do a long way around, 180 degrees, so that I can actually sit and view 180 degrees of 300 or 400 acres or 300 or 400 yards of cover, you know, 20 acres, 30 acres that I haven't infringed on. It's okay if the neighbors are doing it a half mile away or a quarter mile away. I don't want to hurt my own hunt. That's what I refer to as 180 degrees. When I'm in a spot like that, I'm sitting all day. I have plans to sit all day. A lot of times I'm over in the morning because that buck I'm after comes into my lap. But you plan to sit all day because if you get out of an area like that on the backside of bedding, you're just spooking deer and they're running to your neighbors. And that could have effects that last for years, meaning that you push a couple small bucks, they don't have the same restrictions that you do for what you're shooting or the same goals. They shoot those young bucks, which you can't blame them. If they want to shoot them, they shoot them. It's legal. then now they're shooting a buck that you wanted to shoot a year from now or 2 years from now. And that can happen. You can even send a pile their way. And then they shoot at them, they run to someone else. I saw that pinball approach in the Thumb Area, Michigan, where you'd have 15 does run into this wood lot, 12 come out after a whole bunch of shooting. They go over this wood lot. All of a sudden, 3 or 4 wood lots later, they're whittled down to 6 or 7 does. And that's common. That's where you can see it happening because it's open cover and fields. But there's a lot of times where you can't because it's woods, and you don't realize the attrition rate as these deer are pushed around, and it's no wonder you can't find an older buck in some areas. So I'm sitting all day. I don't want to start the pinball. I want to be where all the deer go to, because they will find, and they'll, to me, find historical pockets of cover that they know they can go to safely when the guns start popping and the Orange Army's out there. Why use a bow on opening day? Why use an opening day or a bow during gun season in general? Like I said, the 3rd day of Wisconsin's or Minnesota's gun season just recently, I shot my deer with a bow. Used my bow tag, had to wear orange and everything, but I use my bow because I'm on the backside of cover. I'm in an area where I expect deer to be. I'm on that outside edge, and when deer come through, I'm not setting up my stands where a mature buck can go 80 yards away and I see him and I don't get a shot. I'm setting on the edge of cover, the edge of movement, the edge of habitat change, on funnels, mock scrapes, whatever it might be. But I know that buck, if he comes through, he's got a very high percentage, can't guarantee, but he's got an 89% chance that he's going right where I want him to go. In fact, he was the 3rd buck that came through. Another one was a 4 or 5 year old in front of him. Lucky. He came through first. Ended up going by 10 yards. I could have shot him with a bow too. But the other one was a 22-yard shot. So I look at it I like bow hunting. I like gun hunting too. I like muzzleloader hunting, shotgun, rifle, whatever it is. But I prefer to shoot deer with a bow. So if I have it all defined and I'm back in a morning stand like that and I've used a backdoor approach and I'm in this thick cover setup, why not use a bow? It's going to be a close shot. I've shot a lot of deer, public and private land, with the similar setup of using this, whether it's in the back door of a hemlock stand in a flat, on a bench out in Pennsylvania with 700 to 800 foot changes in elevation, or the backside of a clear cut on public land, the backside of bedding area and private land. But they're right in your lap. I've shot a lot of deer at 20, 30, 40 yards with a gun that I could have used a bow on. Get burned one of these days, but I haven't been yet. And finally, food. There's a lot of you that are sitting in a blind on a food plot on opening day. Terrible spot. And I'm not saying it doesn't work out. What I'm saying is that, for one, when you go into that food source, you have a large percentage chance of starting the pinball, where you're spooking deer, they're spooking deer, they get over to your neighbors, and end up, you don't have deer on your property when you go in. I've seen that effect. I've seen my neighbors do that at times. They go in and walk through a food source. They don't have any deer. We have 15 deer that run by and start to settle into a pocket because they walk through food and open ground and spooked them on the way in. Sitting on a food source, if it's during the rut, like Minnesota's gun season, early November, then those deer are usually flying through a food source. A doe and a buck might run through. You're looking at running deer instead of being back in thick cover, edge of bedding, where they're slowing down and they feel less pressure and lower stress levels. So food source, great for 2nd day, 3rd day, 4th day. That's what we're doing right now. We still have the rut, so we're trying to hunt in areas in the morning. My buddy Mike's out here. We might go out and sit tonight, Dylan and I. But we're trying to sit in areas in the morning where we're not going to mess up the afternoon, evening hunt going in the morning. Because if you spook them going in the morning on a food source, they're not coming back in the afternoon, evening, that same mature buck. If you have any 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, it's all relative for your area. Really have to watch that. So food sources, great to focus on later in gun season, but opening day, I'm really focused on cover, backside of bedding, and that's paid off huge for 3 decades. Really a very, very long time. Going back to the days of hunting the Thumb Area, flat ground, Michigan, Pontiac Lake Recreation Area, those days, public land, back in the 80s. It seems like a long time ago. It's flown by really fast. And in regards to an all-day sit, I want to make sure I let you guys know, look at the link in the description, but HuntWise is having 40% off. It's their biggest sale ever. It's for 2 weeks long, starts November 15th. 40% off site-wide. A lot of my favorites are the Solitude bibs jacket, the Sanctuary bibs jacket. I wear the quarter zip, heavy merino wool. I like their vest, like a catalyst vest underneath. It helps for wind breaking. They have wind stopper now in their Solitude and Sanctuary outfits, so awesome. Great garments for that. But bottom line is up to 40% off. I think it's 40% off statewide. They call it their Black Friday sale. It's all the way through Cyber Monday the 28th. Link is in my description. Take advantage of that. You guys hate me talking about sales and products and stuff, but when it's 40% off and it's a company I believe in, I feel like it's my job to let you know. It's really important you guys know and take advantage of that if you want to. If not, no big deal. Same with the HuntWise. It's 25% off. Links in the description too for them. I want to make sure you guys know about those savings. I need to do that to make sure I give back to you guys. If you want that stuff, want it at a discount, have at it. If not, just to keep enjoying the videos. I hope you can do that. Gun season opener is an exciting time. Allow your property to be the one property in the neighborhood, because it doesn't happen on very many properties, that deer can find an unpressured pocket of great food and cover. Whether you're hunting public or private land, that can happen. Make sure you don't destroy that. That's why I'm very careful hunting food in the afternoon only. I'm hunting bedding areas in the backside, sometimes with a really long way around to get in. And if you can set that up, allow that to happen every day. Crazy how the biggest, baddest buck in the neighborhood finds a way to get on your property, even the 7th day gun season. You know, a lot of my bucks during gun season are killed the 4th day, 7th day, 9th day, 15th day when you include the muzzleloader season right after. So my property is getting better during gun season because we're allowing these food sources to continually pull in deer. And whether it's public or private land, that can happen. And I want it to happen for you guys this year. Most of all, have a safe hunt, enjoy gun season, smile, have a good time. Know that when there's younger kids you're taking out, or family or friends, you're making memories to last a lifetime. And let's face it, folks, that's a lot of times what gun season is all about. I urge everyone out there to really check out my web classes. They've been wildly successful. We have one that details how you should design your land, another one that details how you should plant and maintain and manage a food plot program. How can you make those decisions that fit your land specifically and not someone else's? Unfortunately, there's so much information in the hunting industry that says you should do this, but it doesn't apply to you. These web classes directly apply to you. And then we have our 3rd web class that came out last year, Rut Web Class, navigating the entire rut. And then we have our 4th one coming out, which is hunting hills and thermals. I urge you to check those out, try the web classes, and they're all about teaching, helping you understand how you can navigate, not only managing your property, food plots, and the rut, but also hunting strategically, hills, thermals, and wherever you pursue whitetails for your dream and your passion.